Bulgaria officially Republic of Bulgaria, Bulgarian Republic of Bulgaria, country occupying the eastern portion of the Balkan Peninsula in southeastern Europe. Founded in the 7th century, Bulgaria is one of the oldest states on the European continent. It is intersected by historically important routes from northern and eastern Europe to the Mediterranean basin and from western and central Europe to the Middle East. Before the creation of the Bulgarian state, the empires of ancient Rome, Greece, and Byzantium were strong presences, and people and goods traveled the land with frequency. Bulgaria, emerging from centuries of Ottoman rule, Bulgaria gained its independence in the late 19th century, joined the losing side of several conflagrations in the first half of the 20th century, and despite gravitating toward the Axis powers in World War II, found itself within close orbit of the Soviet Union by mid-century. This alliance had profound effects on the Bulgarian state and psyche, altering everything from land use and labor practices to religion and the arts. Land, nearly rectangular in outline, Bulgaria is bounded by Romania to the north, with most of the border marked by the lower Danube River. The Black Sea lies to the east, Turkey and Greece to the south, North Macedonia to the southwest, and Serbia to the west. The capital city, Sofia, lies in a mountainous basin in the west. Plant and animal life. The relatively large number of Bulgarian plant and animal species reflects the country's location, adjoining several of the great Eurasian biogeographic zones. During the Pleistocene epoch, about 2,600,000 to 11,700 years ago, life in the region was not destroyed by advancing glaciers as occurred in much of Europe, but was actually enriched by the immigration of species from the north, some of which still survive. Influences from the steppes of Western Asia also penetrated the region at that time. Nonetheless, most of the plant and animal life is Central European, mixed with a type that blends Arctic and alpine characteristics in the high mountains. Steppe species are most characteristic in the northeast and southeast, while the south is rich in sub-Mediterranean and Mediterranean species. People of Bulgaria. Ethnically, the population is fairly homogeneous, with Bulgarians making up more than 4/5 of the total. Slavic tribes who settled in the eastern part of the Balkan Peninsula in the 6th century BCE assimilated to a large extent the local Thracian culture, which had roots in the 4th century BCE and formed a basic ethnic group. The Bulgars, who established the first Bulgarian state in 681, formed another component. With the gradual obliteration of fragmented Slavic tribes, Bulgars and Slavs coalesced into a unified people who became known as Bulgarians. The Turks, Bulgaria's largest minority, comprise about 1/10 of the citizenry and live in some regions of the northeast and in the eastern Rhodope Mountains region. Roma are another sizable minority. Macedonians, often tabulated as ethnic Bulgarians, claim minority status. There are a few thousand Armenians, Russians, and Greeks, as well as Romanians and Tatars. Language. The Bulgarian language belongs to the South Slavic group, along with Serbo-Croatian and Slovene. Closely related to Bulgarian is Macedonian. A number of dialects remain in common speech. Bulgarian is written in the Cyrillic alphabet. Religion. With the reforms of the 1990s following the communist period of state-sponsored atheism, full freedom of religion was established. There is no official religion, and the majority of religious Bulgarians are adherents of the Bulgarian Orthodox Church. Minority religious groups include Muslims, Protestants, Catholics, Jews, and Gregorian Armenians. Within the Protestant minority are Great Commission Christians, Pentecostals, and Evangelicals. The Catholic minority are followers of the Bulgarian Catholic Church, which, in contrast to the Roman Catholic Church, uses a Byzantine rite in liturgy. Economy of Bulgaria. The rapid industrialization of Bulgaria since World War II and the economic transition it underwent with the demise of the communist regime had a profound effect on Bulgarian society. Liberalization of price controls in the early 1990s led to a marked rise in prices. As a result, inflation rose and strikes became more frequent. The growing pains of the private sector and the strict financial discipline required to ease the heavy foreign debt also resulted in periods of high unemployment and decreased social services. Against this backdrop, the Bulgarian government pursued economic stability with the assistance of international financial institutions and with the introduction of the currency board in 1997 and other reforms. Inflation was dramatically reduced by the end of the decade. Agriculture accounts for less than 1/10 of the national income of Bulgaria. Cereal crops are grown on almost 3/5 of the sown land. Wheat is by far the most important, followed by corn, maize, and barley. Rye, oats, soybeans, and rice also are grown. Tobacco, which is of a good quality Oriental type and is grown mainly in the south, is an especially important industrial crop. The state-run tobacco company Bulgar Tabak was sold to a Russian firm in 2011. Sunflower seed is the chief oilseed crop. After extraction of the oil, the pulp is made into cattle feed. Sunflowers, like sugar beets, grow mainly in the north. Bulgaria has become a leading exporter of grapes and tomatoes. There is stock breeding of cattle, sheep, pigs, and poultry. Transportation and telecommunications. The development of the Bulgarian economy has required an expansion of the transportation system. Road transport accounts for a large percentage of all freight carried as well as for most passenger traffic. The European International Highway links Sofia with Istanbul, and the main railway lines connect Sofia with the Black Sea coast. Bulgaria is intersected by major European transportation corridors, such as one from Thessaloniki, Greece to northern Europe, and another linking the Adriatic coast with the Black Sea coast. Health and welfare. Before World War Roman II, a rather developed system of welfare and medical insurance existed in the country. With the establishment of the communist regime, social and medical insurance were abolished. Medical care was entirely nationalized and offered at no cost, and all social funds were absorbed by the state budget. However, in spite of the highly educated medical personnel, the quality of medical care deteriorated considerably owing to organizational chaos. Education, primary and secondary education, are the responsibility of a hierarchy of educational councils. Higher education is governed by the Ministry of Public Education. Education is free at all levels, and an 8-year elementary program is obligatory for children. Since 1959, general education has included polytechnical subjects and vocational training. Cultural life. Contemporary Bulgarian culture is a lively blend of millennium-old folk traditions and a more formal culture that played a vital role in the emergence of national consciousness under Ottoman rule and in the development of a modern state. Because Bulgaria's population is largely homogeneous, the degree of cultural variation, even at the regional level, is small. The state encourages cultural development at all levels of society and supports the dissemination of culture, particularly through schools, libraries, museums, publishing, and state radio and television. Bulgaria's numerous theater troupe, opera companies, and orchestras began fusing together into larger, more competitive units in the 1990s.